wants to retire? It sounds like you're going to sleep, or worse, being put to pasture. I think of this as a time I get to do the things I prefer to do. And so the word preferment, not retirement. For nearly all of my business life, I have loved my work. Facilitating group, it's just fun. I mean, helping organizations create new strategies. I got to tell you, I mean, it's exhilarating. I finished something like that and I feel like I can take on the world. And then teaching people concepts that help transform their business lives every day. You know, really, I mean, really extremely rewarding. The Confucius is the one who said, choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. I got to say, I 100% agree with that. I just loved what I do. But when I think back, it was the second Monday in March 2021. I woke up that morning and for the first time in my life, I didn't want to go to work. I just didn't want to go. And it was a foreign experience. I didn't know what to think about it. So I got my miserable carcass up and went to work. The following Monday, it was the same experience. I didn't want to go to work. And the realization hit me. This is why they call it work. Well, 3 months later, I announced to the company that starting the beginning of 2022, I would begin the transition of turning the company over from me to David. He would take on becoming president of the company. And then at the end of 2022, I would be completely out of the day-to-day of business and just serving as chair of the board of leadership strategies. There was singing in the streets. I mean, ding dong, the witch is dead. Actually, virtually no one believed it. No one thought I would be able to step back and not be involved. Well, it started in January with me stepping back to 4 days a week and David running all the leadership team meetings, the strategy updates, and so on. And then by July, I was down to 3 days a week. And people began saying, he's actually going to do this. I've even had people try to get me back involved in decisions. And I just have to tell them, sorry, it's David's show. You have to ask the man. I loved it. Let me tell you, there are 3 initiatives in particular that I'm going to be taking on in preferment. The first one is one of the heart. In fact, it's already started. Portia and I, over the last year, wrote her book, The Portia Principles, a practical guide for creating and sustaining your lifelong honeymoon. It's amazing. I would be, during the pandemic, I'd pass by her office door. We were on opposite sides of the condo, and I'd overhear one side of a virtual conversation where she was sharing all this great information. And I pulled her aside one day and said, sweetheart, this is amazing. These jewels you're sharing with people, you know, you might want to consider writing them down. And maybe every time you get a new client, sharing with them, hey, here are the things I'm going to be taking you through. Well, we sat down and we documented what she calls the 8 Portia principles, meaning if you want to create and sustain a lifelong honeymoon with the mate of your life, focus on these 8 things. Let them know you, not your representative. Cultivate intimacy at deeper levels. Lift your partner every day. Manage the differences with care and communication. Avoid the fire starters. We all know about those because they can ignite a blaze. Address conflict, resolve disagreements, repair the ruptures, for they can ruin you, and then profess, protect, and prioritize with your thoughts, words, and actions. So these are things that she put together, and the book on it, the workshops on it, and so on. And I get to be her number 2. This is fun. Second initiative, really for the spirit. I've been a student of A Course in Miracles for basically 4 decades now, and been facilitating courses and ended up documenting something I call the study guide for Course in Miracles. So it's a section by section guide with questions and activities for groups to do when they're studying this amazing spiritual work, A Course in Miracles. So it's time to publish that and make that available to the wider world so more people can take advantage of some of the resources there. So I'll be taking that on. So the first one was for the heart, the second one for the spirit, the third one is really for our nation. I think everyone in this room knows that our dysfunctional political system has gotten completely out of hand. This whole thought of us having red states and blue states, and it's really, really a bad way, because today, how do politicians win? Well, they win by getting reelected. So the game in Washington has become, you know what? My people reelect me. Your people reelect you. So if I can convince my people that you're the problem, that's great. And when a new party comes in, all I want to do is prevent them from being successful so that I can get reelected. We have got to change the game. When the game becomes beating the other party as opposed to helping America move forward, that is a problem, and we have got to change it. And I believe if we make one change, one simple change, it's simple, it's not easy, but it's simple. One simple change, and it will completely change the game. So here is the thought that if we could have a constitutional amendment, that means it needs to be passed by 2/3 of the states, that say every 2 years we'll have a national referendum with one question on it, only a simple question. It is, do you believe the Congress and the administration have worked together for the good of the American people? That's a simple question, yes or no. And if 50% plus say yes, we're all good. People are working together for the good of the American people. If 50% plus say no, you know what that means? Everyone who's in elected office at that time at the federal level is no longer eligible for re-election. Think about the impact of that. I like to call this our government. And don't you forget it. That would be the name of the initiative, our government, and don't you forget it. And the you in this case is both us, because we are empowered to make decisions. We just think we're not. And as well as our politicians, who are empowered to follow us, even though they think they're not. So it's our government, and don't you forget it. And so doing the work, laying the groundwork for making that a national initiative that gets started, where we can change this game and stop all the political bickering and so on, and what's created such a negative environment in our country. It's just not helpful. I am both proud and excited about the organization that will be leading us forward. David Stargell as the president, he brings the vision and the experience and the decisiveness that I am sure will make a difference. Jamie Drake is our sales leader, been with us nearly 20 years, and will be leading the way with Jermaine and Doug and the sales organization. Cheyenne Pastrana has been with us for a couple of years now, who has just done a great job in marketing, has shown us the things that we need to be doing that will really make the difference. Having brought on Janice and Alicia to help her with that, looking forward to it. Ops manager Sandra Liebert, with us well over 20 years, our longest term employee. Ashley handling accounting, and Alicia and Brittany working with her. And then our advisor, Susan Neary, our longest term core team member, advising David on technical issues and issues dealing with the core team. And then head of training services, Dave Edelman, who is actually guiding the core team, our 26-member core teams, who do most of the work with us at Leadership Strategies. It is amazing. I am just so looking forward to new directions, new thoughts, and all that will be happening going forward. Guess what? You have to ask David.